Can we kick this off, Clark?
Sweet.
Got it.
Cool. Alrighty. Well, we've got the chaps from Lakeman here visiting the COVID capital of New Zealand, and they're at a relatively safe level 2 down there, I believe. So,
It's
welcome,
getting
guys.
closer. Hello, it's getting closer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, do you want to give us a wee bit of a background about how you got into this, Lark?
So it is a bit of a long story and probably different from everyone else's. We obviously we bought our first farm and we're in the Lake Taupo catchment, Alicia and I, and at the time we were leasing a lot of land and things like that. And leases don't last forever, and we were looking for something else to get into. And obviously at the same time the water was getting protected. And so the farm we're on actually had a very low NDA, which is a very low stock carrying capacity. And so humming and ahhing what to do, and happened to be in Australia at the same sort of time, and a mate gave me a bottle of Cooper's. I guess he had a bit of a light bulb moment and turn a negative into a positive. So it's all right, we'll turn that water into beer, and that's how we're going to make money. I don't know if we've made any money yet, but so that's basically how the brewery got started. And we put down the shed was just dirt floor, and we put down concrete and bought a brewery, bought the Tuatara brewery off Carl. I think it was their second one in, and it was just growing from there. Yeah.
So what size was that kit?
1200 litre. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
It still is.
That's a good size to get started. Yeah.
Yeah, it is. It was probably a bit ahead of ourselves, but it is probably a little bit smaller now. At the time, I mean, this is 8 years ago. At the time, it was actually one of the better breweries in New Zealand in terms of its setup and that. Rory will say no now, and I say no now too. But yeah, at the time, compared to a lot of other operations, it was actually a pretty cool little kit. Yeah, yeah.
So, Rory, do you want to tell us a wee bit about this Pilsner we're drinking?
Sure thing. So it's pretty solid example of a New Zealand Pilsner. So obviously you'll probably be picking up a lot of hop character and a fair amount of upfront bitterness, but still a little bit of yeast flavor in there as well. But should be pretty clear. It's brewed with Pacific Jade to bitter it, a little bit of Rewalker and Motueka. So there's some lemony notes, and it's just super light, super crisp. Our main goal with it is to lighten the body, so there's no like lingering coyness or anything like that. And a good beer to finish it.
Yeah, I noticed we just opened a bar in Taupo called Jimmy Coops, and I see the Pilsner is actually the third biggest selling beer, which was interesting. Yeah, for the first 2 weeks.
So where in Taupo is that?
It's on the lakefront there, next to Pub and Grub. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. You won't miss it.
And it's exclusively got your beer, or?
Yeah, we got a couple. Obviously, it's called Jimmy Coops. I've got a couple of beers called Jimmy Coops, but it is exclusively our beer. Yeah.
And that's been set up recently, is it?
Yeah, we opened 2 weeks ago.
Oh, okay. And the times of COVID, but I guess you're on the recovery side of things, perhaps.
Well, I don't know. I just thought, fuck it, let's just do it. Get on with it. I think it's probably a little bit of our Lakeman attitude, and we opened it with some other people which are very good operators in town. So yeah, it's probably, I think when we did think about doing it, we didn't realize that Delta was going to come along, but yeah, I think we'll be out. I think in 6 or 8 weeks I think Auckland will be given the golden ticket to go, and yeah, I think we'll be back to hopefully some normality.
So Rory, coming back to the grain bill and the Pilsner, so are you using Gladfield malts, or what are you using?
It's 100% Gladfield, just a lot of their Pilsner malt, tiny bit of sour grapes and a little bit of wheat as well, just for head retention.
we put any lager in there? We didn't know.
No, lager light. So we have started using a malt called lager light, which is just a bit lighter again, even on the compared to the Pilsner. So it's a 6-row barley. But it is only in our lager, not in the Pilsner yet.
Yeah.
Probably going to change this recipe soon.
No, we can't. No, we're
People are buying it. Leave it alone.
Yeah, no,
we never can.
yeah. We're constantly tweaking all the time, but no, the Pilsner sort of stayed the same. The only thing that we've probably done over the past year is lower the bitterness on it, because we used to put a lot of hops in the whirlpool, obviously get the flavour, but just been slowly dropping those out just to it's made the beer and probably actually made it more flavoursome as the bitterness has dropped, because we still get quite a bit of bitterness from the whirlpool side of it. Yeah.
And then are you doing are you using lager yeasts, or are you using SO5, or are you?
We're using, I think, is it Fermentus, the SAF Lager W34-70.
Yeah.
That stuff. And yeah, it's just a solid, pretty not verdant.
We probably found last year, because it's been a learning curve the whole way. The Pilsner lager and longer is best.
Yeah.
We couldn't work out what the hell was going wrong, but yeah, we leave them a minimum of 3 weeks now, the lagers and Pilsners, and it just seems it definitely makes a huge difference to the beer. Yeah.
That's in the bright tank, you mean?
Yeah.
So are you keeping up, like, how long are you on the yeast with these?
How long the yeast? It'll be the yeast probably takes about 10 days of the lager, to ferment, and we just leave it in the tank and let it settle out for another 2 weeks, 2.5 weeks. Yeah. Especially in winter here in Taupo, it's colder. The tanks get down to about 4 or 5, so it takes a lot longer for the sulfates to wash off. Yeah.
So are the tanks outside, are they?
No, they're inside, but we have got some coming next month. I don't know quite where we're going to put those, but yeah.
Right.
Worry about that at the time. Yeah.
At 4 degrees inside, you'd need to be wearing your kilts, wouldn't you?
Jeez. You just don't want to see what's under it. That's all. Yeah.
So what sort of temps are you running for the 3470?
So we're always cautious just to make sure that it starts off healthy. So like overnight, so after the first night, we'll leave it at 16 degrees and then rapidly drop it down in the morning to 14.5 and leave it there. We did try a long time ago now, running at the recommended like to 12 degrees around that. Well, to be fair, at that time we weren't giving things around lagering essentially. So I don't know, it might work if we revisit it, but at the moment 14.5 for
it's only
fermentation.
5 days, 6 days, then we turn it up.
Yeah, to just let all those volatile compounds
Like,
denature.
Yeah, and this time of year it may get up to 20 degrees. In the winter it may get up to 17, 18 degrees, and then obviously it'll cool back down. So like I say, in winter it'll sit at sort of 5 to 7 degrees. Yeah. In the summer it might sit around that 14, 15.
Yeah, I suppose you get both temperature extremes there, don't you?
Yeah. Yeah, we
A little
do.
more temperamental.
Yeah.
But the glycol units keep up then?
Yep. Yeah, they do. Yeah. Like I say, it was actually a pretty modern kit for the time, and a good friend of ours is the glycol man, so he keeps them pretty well.
Pretty bulletproof.
Pretty bulletproof, as long as no pipes blow apart. But
Yeah, but we're pretty quick to stitch them back together if they do blow up.
Yeah. But temperature control is one of the biggest things. We're pretty anal about it during whether it be an ale or a Pilsner, during that brewing process. We're pretty anal about keeping it consistent. And then turning it up on the 5th day. I mean, obviously I live on the farm, so I can go down there and I turn them up on the last day if it's a Sunday or a Saturday. I'll start turning them up. I mean, with modern technology, now we'll be able to do it with the phone soon anyway. but those are, I think that's the crucial part, is the amount of yeast you put in there and keeping that temperature correct, and it seems to keep things smooth. Yeah.
So you're doing any yeast recovery and rebatching, or using fresh every time?
No, we use it, probably stealing all Rory's thunder.
It's all good.
Haven't talked to anyone for a while. Yeah, we use like the lager yeast, we use it 5 times, and same with our ale yeast, we use it 5 times and we just throw it out. We don't do any counts as such. It is something that we will move into now that we're just getting a little bit bigger. But yeah, we'll start counting our yeast in that. But yeah, we try to keep things fresh as possible. Yeah.
We had the guys on from Throth recently, and it looks like there's a few breweries using their stuff. I don't think it comes cheap, but I think people are getting good results with it. It might be worth a bit of a nudge.
Yeah, we've probably we like our ale yeast we import from California, and obviously we use the SAF lager yeast seems to work pretty well for us, but just found yeah, I mean, we should really give it a go. But yeah, we use the ale Californian 001 and find that it's a very, very clean flavored hop. Like we've tried a few other a yeast, like we tried around a few other yeasts, but it just seems to give it the cleanest flavor. Yeah, even like brewing not beer, like we tried honey, threw a bit of honey in there once, and it just, yeah, it still worked really well. Just a very clean tasting yeast. Yeah.
Hi guys, thanks for coming on. I had a question for you. Do you notice any difference in how long it takes to ferment or flavor profile or anything between like the first time you'd use the yeast versus the last, you know?
Yep, definitely. Like like say the SAF lager, that usually takes around 10 days. We actually order an extra packet, more than what they say, to get our yeast counts up, so it does brew within 10 days. With the ale yeast, we still order more than we should, but that usually takes, say, 7 days. And the first one to ferment out usually takes a little bit to get going. We will, you know, like in Topol, we have to, especially if we know it's a new batch of yeast, we may put it at, rather than put it at 20.5, we may put it at 22 degrees when we put new yeast in, just you know, obviously get it going quicker, and you know, cool. Like obviously it cools down overnight here in Taupo. Yeah, in summer you can get away with a bit more, but in winter, yeah. So we do sort of allow for a couple more days, but we try and speed it up by a little bit. Some manipulation, I suppose. Not too bad.
And have you actually noticed any flavor difference? Like, have you done trial like starting it like cold and keep going versus like starting hot and bringing it down?
Yep. We've, you know, if it gets like, if it's too hot, it just adds real fruity esters and things like that. Probably from things going wrong. Yeah, we will. I think like some of the beers that we have that might have, like glycol might have accidentally come on, or something like a can't think of the name, solenoid might have got stuck. You can definitely notice the difference in taste. Some of them you can smell that they have say sick, but the yeast has been stressed. Yeah, so you do get situations. That's why we just stick to our guns at our temperatures and leave it there. Yeah, otherwise, yeah, you do get stresses. And then, I mean, we actually, like and when it does happen, we just tip it out. We don't, yeah, don't put it out there.
You do, so you said you raise the temperatures at the end for like a diacetyl type thing, or
yeah,
what do you
just
use?
to finish it out. So we're going to go 20.5 and raise it up to 21.5, isn't it? So, and but it's got a 0.2 above that. Thing, so it goes up to about 21.7, 22 degrees. Try and tap it out of that. It won't quite get to that, but it'll get into the 21s, and yeah.
Either for like 3 days or 4 days or something, and you just cool it.
Yeah, basically. So it's just towards the very end of fermentation, like once it's hit about a specific gravity of about 25 or so is when we turn it up just in that last stretch, just to let, like you say, those volatile things, diacetyl, DMS, just for them to hopefully denature and bugger off.
Yeah. So I think our rule is that we don't go and chill anything for 12 days, is it?
Yeah, we're
No, 14 really, isn't it?
yeah, before we start dry hopping and
Yeah, we won't dry hop for 10, how many days? Is it? 10 or 12?
at least 10 for the ales.
Yeah.
But typically the longer the better. Well, within reason. But
Yeah.
yeah, trying to give beers more time has been our big
Yeah.
push for the
I think that's what lockdown taught us last year, is that the beers just got even cleaner with
Yeah.
a longer period. And yeah, so that's why we do go to 10, 11 days before we start dry hopping.
So are you guys just relying on you guys pumping a bit of CO2 in when you put the hops in, rather than relying on the CO2 just hanging in there?
Yeah, definitely. We do all that just to eliminate oxygen. Yeah, we pump a geez, you're gonna hit the game there, Paul. Yeah, we pump CO2 in and all those sort of things. Whenever we get yeast out, we pump CO2 in on the top. When we pretty anal about that. When we dry hop, we blast the hell out of it, because we know that like most of the CO2 should have gone out of the beer. Yeah, sure, it might be still sitting at 18 degrees, but usually you can blast the hell out of it and dry hop at the same time. It helps displace the hops, but also blows any obviously extra oxygen out. Yeah. But it's all probably part of the learning curve along the way, Rory?
Sure has been.
And how long are you keeping them on the dry hops?
Probably only 3 to 5 days, really. Well,
Yeah.
probably, yeah.
For the bigger beers, the ones that require like 2 dry hops or 2 increments, we'll leave them a little bit longer as well, like maybe another couple days.
Yeah, just find that with those bigger beers, if we put it all in at once, just don't get the flavour. But if we do it over 2 or 3 days, like because some of these fermenters down here are only 1,200 litres, and you're putting in 14 kilo dry hops in that.
Yeah,
Just find that if we do it over 2 or 3 days, the flavour profile is a lot better. Don't know why or anything like that. I have no idea, but it just seems to carry better. Yeah.
And are you still? Yeah, that's good stuff actually. Yeah.
With your Pilsner, you said that you had Pacific Jade as a bittering hop and then Rewaka Motueka in the Whirlpool. Was there any dry hopping in that?
Yeah, it is. So we dry hop with Nelson Sav. I think it's 2 kilos because it's such a light beer. 2 kilos seems to be enough, and I actually believe that's what gives its flavour is the dry hop. Yeah, because of the gooseberry sort of flavour. Yeah.
Yeah, I was actually thinking the same. Like I could taste Nelson and there'd be a different mention. I was like, there's something else in there.
Yeah, but it's just amazing. Like, there's basically it's a lager that's been dry hopped compared to, say, a big hop bomb of 14 kilos. But it's amazing how that little 2 kilos brings out a lot of flavour. Yeah, in a little beer.
Well, Nelson is pretty potent, so
Yeah.
caution.
Yeah. So is the price.
I'll be ready to crack the Tapo Thunder. I know some have already half finished it, but is it time to crack the next one, fellas?
Let's go.
Mine's well cracked.
Yes. Cheers.
Bloody cool labels, by the way.
Thank you. Yeah. So I've used the same guy, local guy. He's been with us from the start of Lakeman. Yeah. They can be temperamental, these artists, but I've stuck with them. They don't like pressure.
Some would say it builds diamonds.
I've made this beer. Can you make us a label by tomorrow?
He doesn't.
I've
Yeah,
Got a
such a cool
community.
brand. Yeah.
I am, yeah. It's the old man as well, but the camera's fighting with us. I got to mention the artwork. I really enjoy when new cans come out, when new bottles come out, sort of seeing what creative things your caveman's going to be up to this time.
Yeah, yeah.
Certain adventures. Looking forward to a new one coming up hopefully soon. Well, we haven't brewed it yet, but we have an idea at least.
Yeah.
Called the Steamroller. So yeah, that should be making for an interesting label.
Yeah.
Topol Thunder, our New Zealand Pale Ale, brewed with, once again, Pacific Jade to bitter, Rewalker, Moteri, Taiheki, and I think also some Nelson Sav in the dry hop as well there. And there might even be a 5th hop or a 6th hop.
Nelson said no.
There's Nelson Sav, but it's only in the dry hop.
Yeah.
And the brew sides of things, it's Pacific Jade,
Look on here.
Rewalker, Taiheki, Rako.
Is it? Yeah.
Rako is the last hop.
Yeah. That's what changed it this year.
Mm.
Yeah. So Tabba Thunder is obviously a long-standing
Pale
New
Ale.
Zealand Pale Ale. I think it's as New Zealand as you can get. Obviously, we use all the Gladfield malt again and all New Zealand hops. New Zealand, I suppose New Zealand Pale Ale to me is probably slightly sweeter than say a English Pale Ale. So I think we've got sweeter tastes in New Zealand. Yeah.
So what sort of finishing gravity is this if it's a bit sweeter?
The finishing gravity, it's still around 10. It's just that the IBU, the bittering hop's a bit smaller and whatnot than our IPA and things like that. But
It's
yeah,
lovely.
the apparent bitterness is a little bit lower.
Yeah, we went through, like last year, we went through, as we do every time, and changed in terms of, like, we just felt that our beers were a little bit too bitter, so we just pulled a bit more bitterness out, and it made a huge difference to the flavor profiles, I think, to all our beers actually. Yeah.
So I get that right? Is Pacific Jade and then Materi, Rewalker, Rikau, and Taiheki?
Okay, I'll break it down because I've only just remembered. So in the brew side of things,
We've got
it is
rosé.
bittered with Pacific Jade, and then the bulk of the kettle editions, the later kettle editions in the Whirlpool is Rewalker, Taiheki, and Rako. And then in the dry hop, it's Rewalker, Moteri, and then Nelson Sav.
Oh,
So it's actually it's evolved into quite a hop forward beast. This it used to
Yeah.
only incorporate 3 hops, I think, but you know, constant tweaking and changing over 5 years. To be fair, you know what?
Quebec.
Yeah, no, I'm really
Yeah.
loving this beer. This is delicious.
Yeah.
I was struggling with my aging eyes to see the label. I thought it might be 5.1%, but it's actually 5.7%.
Yeah.
So it's actually quite big for a pale ale.
Mm. Yeah.
Not for
Smooth, though.
Lakeman, yeah.
Yeah. For us, it's actually light.
We struggle with that. Yeah.
It's hard to make it like beer.
You're not afraid of excise tax then?
Mm.
Yeah, Alyssa is, but we don't look at that side of it.
Yeah. Yeah. No, Alyssa would love it if they were all 2.5%.
It's all the new rage.
Mm.
Yeah.
No, don't.
Yeah. It's harder. It is a lot harder to hide behind steaks and lighter alcohol beers. So
Yeah.
yeah.
More beer, less alcohol.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just scary.
Yeah.
And yeah, the malt bill for this is all Gladfield once again. It's just a mixture of the American ale, Gladfield American ale, a tiny touch of light crystal. Please don't hate us for that. And then a bit of wheat. Just super simple.
Yeah.
And when you say tiny touch, meaning like 1-2%?
Not
Fire.
even that.
Of light crystal,
Really?
it's like 7 kilos, isn't it?
Yeah, out of like a
Over
300
300?
kilo
Yeah.
malt bill.
Yeah.
Wait, what is that? Is anyone good at math?
5/8 of bugger all.
Yeah, I mean 0.5%.
Yeah,
Just over?
round about. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
shit.
it's
Okay.
not very much at all. It's basically just for color for us. We just, you know, that's one of the easiest things for us to diagnose. We're like, oh, it'd be nice if it were just a little bit darker.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's beautiful color.
Cheers.
No, it is a good beer. I think for New Zealand Pale Ale, It's pretty good. We
And,
actually,
and by when you say a bit a week, I'm thinking like what 4 to 5.
What's that, sorry?
about
When you
5
say a bit
kilos
a
a
week,
week.
I'm
Yeah,
thinking
yeah,
4 to
it's like
5
yeah, it's not very much at all as
And,
well.
and like this is amazing how it is actually at can't think of his name now, from Garage Project a while back, and because this guy worked in Germany for about 5 years, I think, making pilsners and lagers and that. I said, you wouldn't believe this. I said, we found it out like it was actually one of the hazy beers we're making. And we're making the lager, and we always keep getting the wheat taste coming through. And I think it was about 5 kilos we used to put in there, eh?
Mm.
And you could keep smelling and keep smelling. I was like, oh, Jesus, like, and we were making, I think it was 5 o'clock somewhere, and it just got real chalky and it sort of like clicked with the wheat. I mean, I like the wheat because it gives it a real nice head, a foamy, I wouldn't say big foam, but just a thick foam head compared to, say, oats and that. And anyway, we reduced it by 2 kilos out of a 250 grain bill and made a huge difference to the flavour profile. Like it's just and the Pilsner as well. Yeah, it's just amazing. Like you're learning as you go. Obviously, it sounds really professional, doesn't it, coming from me? But
So 5 kilos. So you're saying 5 kilos and 300. I mean, that's really low dosage.
yeah, like I was over about 252 kilo.
Oh, 250.
Yeah, for the lager, we pulled 2 kilos and replaced it with light lager, I think, anyway. But the profile of that beer just changed instantly, and that's how finer line things can be. Especially those sort of beers, and even running into these beers here, like with the 5 o'clock somewhere. That was like it's got the stage where it was just chalk, eh?
Yeah.
Like
And
anyways, adjuncts trying to make it hazy and fighting and
100 different types of malt in there, and you realize we were just making a mistake by doing
trying
that.
to sell us this and that, and this will make it hazy, and then we just stripped it back and put more oats in there and just made it simplified it again, made it cream. Like it was by another beer that we made, like just put more heaps of oats, and it's like, wow, that's way better. So you can go back and change the recipe on a.
We were trying to be conservative with all these different things that we were trying, but it turns out we just needed to be bold with one thing.
Yeah.
And that paid dividends.
Yeah. It's just
you mentioned that you've taken your bitterness back on quite a few beers. Like what sort of bitterness is this in that now?
I wouldn't have a clue. I'll be honest about it. It's just where my mouth sits.
Yeah. So it takes around that 40 mark, but
yeah, we took 300. Like we're talking 300 grams out of the whirlpool makes a big difference. 3 to 500 almost, eh?
Yeah. And tiny like 5%, maybe even smaller, out of an already very small bittering hop.
Yeah.
Just tweaking those early additions just a tiny bit as well.
Yeah.
Because like our whirlpool hops, it was, you might, I think it's about 7 kilos for this, is it roughly?
Yeah, no, that might be a bit much actually. It might be more like 5.
5, but it used to be quite big, like 6.5 whirlpool, because we thought we were getting lots of flavour out of it, but actually we're adding a lot of bitterness. So you're just pulling those sort of things back, and like Rory says, man, he's just taking a little bit out of the, like when he put 300 grams of Pacific Jade or 250 grams of Pacific Jade in at the 60 mark to get the the bitterness.
It's interesting, mate. You go. There you go, Phil.
Yeah, how do you document all the changes to your recipes?
Just write it down.
We've just got lots of big books.
Get an Excel or whatever, or write it down.
Hopefully one day we will enter the digital age.
Yeah, we're getting to we've got a portal down by the shed now, so it's a big start. And hopefully we will be getting iPads and things like that too.
Oh no, love it. Yep.
Yeah.
Pen and paper.
Technology costs. Especially at the moment with COVID and things like that, so be a little bit careful and opening the bar and things like that. But so those we'll definitely, like we did start off with the Excel, but the others was a bit hard for the office ladies. Yeah, who think
no, love it.
I leant in there big time with the shoulder. I was all on it. I was making my equations, doing everything properly, and then no one wanted it.
Yeah, they could upload it from the cloud and everything, and Yeah. So, but now we're just a little bit bigger and we had to go to infantry programs and
Mm.
things like that. So we are modernizing it. Yeah.
Trying out a program called Unleashed, which it manages, it's much more holistic. It's like an entire brewery and production, bloody, what do you call it, sales, everything like that is factored in. So yeah, the packaging, the ingredients, all of that. And basically you enter these recipes and they require X amount of this and that. And I'm terrified because we're always changing the recipe. So that's not gonna, we'll see how it goes.
How do you balance, like, I mean, obviously breweries always want to experiment, same as a home brewer. How do you balance that versus having a system product?
Tiny tweaks on our core beers. That's how we do it. Just tiny things that won't change the what do you call it? The entire profile of the beer, but just improve like the experience. And yeah, with the seasonals, we do get a little bit bold, probably.
Oh, look, we got a situation though at the moment, and probably planning on my behalf, but we didn't know it was going to go well. Like we were making beer out of cryo hops. They've run out. Citra cryo, wasn't it?
Mhm.
We had some left over actually.
Cryo Citra.
Yeah, and the hillbilly milk going really well. Everyone's loving it. Then run out. And I was like, oh well, we've only got cryo pop, so there's only 10 kilos of it left. Available in the spot market, so we grabbed that. So I guess the next hillbilly milk is going to taste completely different. I don't know, but yeah, sort of.
It'll still be a good beer.
Yeah, it'll still be a good beer.
It'll just be slightly different.
Yeah. But all our cores we sort of programmed for, but like cactus juice, that just keeps on giving.
And the biggest hop in that is actually an experimental trial hop. I don't know what the term is,
Yeah.
but one that hasn't actually got a proper name yet. And
New
to be
Zealand
fair,
one, yeah.
we should let them know that we're using that because they want to do like a program and get
Yeah.
all the beers that are using it.
We did hear that there was like a 102 or 202
Yeah,
or something.
102, yeah.
NZH-102.
And it's pretty
102.
cool.
Yeah. We heard some. So we had NZ hops on recently,
Nice.
and they told us about 102 and the 101.
We haven't tried 101. I've also
Yeah.
seen a 104 around.
So 102's gone pretty good for you.
Yeah, loving it.
Yeah,
That's cool.
That's what's like
Yeah.
hillbilly milk and in the
Nice.
and in the cactus juice, yeah. Obviously, there's agave juice, well, agave sugar in the cactus juice as well, but yeah, just to bump the alcohol up a bit. But I mean, that's another beer that can go. That wouldn't say it went wrong. That was definitely experimental. The first batch, 'cause we've added adjuncts before, like syrups and sugars and things like that. I was like, nah, let's put the whole 20 litres in Rory. And I went down on about the third night after I'd added that, during fermentation, and it definitely tasted tequila. Yeah, she was pretty. So we have the amount of agave that we put in after that. Yeah. Yeah.
Just
What do you do with something like that when you suddenly have 1,200 kilos? Like
Oh,
liters
it
of it?
worked out in the end. I think we got there in the end, but yeah, just sort of just definitely could taste the tequila in the first batch. Yeah, it wasn't probably wasn't as smooth as it should be, but the second batch was definitely a lot smoother. Yeah.
I completely agree with that. What you said there, Roy. I mean, it's the beer's going to be a bit different, but it's still going to be a good beer.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's built on the same bones as the last one. And the supporting hops. So we actually in our entire history haven't done a single hop beer. We typically always balance between 3 hops. So the supporting hops are still the same. It's just the mainline headline act is slightly different. So I'm actually curious to see what it's like. Yeah.
Our biggest problem is we haven't got a test kit. And so we and to be honest, part of the fun, I think, is just winging it on the old deal.
Winging it on a grand scale.
Yeah, that's how we just try and leave enough room to play if something goes wrong. We've had to tip the odd one out, but most of the time we've got away with it. Like it's sort of.
Oh yeah, we get lucky all the time.
Yeah. So we've been pretty.
People create luck, don't they? They say you create your own luck.
Yeah.
Sure.
Well, it definitely is that. I think it makes it real apprehensive, and you're like tasting every day, and it's like a little kid. Whereas I mean, sure, it'd be the same for a little one, but you know, like shit, you got money at stake here and
Yeah.
your reputation on the line. You've made this beer, and I was like, well, I don't know how it's going to go. And you go down there at 9 o'clock and it's tasting tequila, and you go, oh shit, what do we? How do we?
People love tequila.
How do we? You know,
Well, exactly. You just market it as fucking tequila beer, don't you?
Yeah.
I tell you what, like literally, if you got a label and you said this tequila beer, like people go nuts on this shit.
Yeah.
Do it.
Yeah. So I mean, that's part of the fun of it. I think it's a little bit, probably not. Yeah, it's just a little bit edgy, but I think it's just makes it that bit more fun and anticipation of what's going to turn out. You know, and I think that's part of the fun of the brewery. I think is those sort of moments. And yeah, I mean, at the moment probably been a little bit, because I've been a bit sick in there, been a little bit boring. Because opening the bar and we're actually running out of space till these new tanks turn up. But it's I mean, I know Rory and Stacey, they love putting down the new beers and that, but it's just like a little kid, you know, waiting with anticipation to see what it comes out and like yeah.
Just trying new things.
Yeah.
It's great hearing the way you guys describe this. You know, from starting out, you don't really mess around with spreadsheets. It's all, you know, pencil and paper and notes, and you're happy to tweak a beer, an existing beer, and play with it a bit. And you're tasting it. You're just practicing. It's the real, you know, the real craft. You know, it's not like it's a commercial recipe that's set in stone.
Yeah, and I think that's
trying new things. You know.
Yeah.
Love it. It's great.
Where we are, I don't know.
That's fantastic.
Yeah. And I think with the bar in town, will allow us to get rid of those. You know, we can experiment through that a little bit easier.
Get rid of is probably the wrong phrase, but like, we are scared of making more experimental things. So we made our first sour a little while ago, and sales reps and everything telling us don't
bother.
They don't sell.
Yeah.
Oh,
but
now
fantastic.
But now as a bar, and actually the peach slaps actually goes.
Yeah, it's moving pretty well. Yeah.
I don't know if we get 19 kegs of it, but
we kegged the whole bloody vat.
Yeah,
that was
I mean, I had a coworker who said, "Oh, I don't really like traditional beer, but I really like your raspberry sour." You know, so it's the same thing. It's like it actually gets some of those like on the fence beer drinkers to, yeah, why not?
Yeah.
And on
you get the wine drinkers, you get the wine drinkers drinking beer, don't you?
Yeah. Oh no, but it's not gluten free.
No, true. There is.
Not
even gluten free, mate.
When's your brown ale coming out?
Fuck them.
And it's good on a tasting palate as well. Like you get your 4 beers. If you put a sour in there, it's good palate cleanser between your oily, heavy IPAs and whatnot. It's
like we want to do a raspberry. Well, I want to do a raspberry sort of goes next. So that's my next one.
Do it.
Brown ale is the next big thing. When is that coming out? You got plans for that?
What's that? Sorry.
When this time?
Brown ale. When is your brown ale coming out, or your English?
Brown ale. Oh God.
Brown
ale's new hazy. Haven't you heard?
Is brown ale the new hazy?
Yeah, haven't you heard?
I've wanted to make something multiple for a long time, but
go for it.
Yeah,
go for it, guys. Go for it.
The market dictates what the market wants, and the market dictates hazy.
It's turning though. It's turning.
It's time to move on from hazies, mate.
It's going to British brown ale, mate.
Sorry, brown ale.
It's going.
Sweet. Let's crack into it.
British brown ale.
Get a couple of red malts in there.
I heard lager was the one this summer.
Oh, if only.
Mark
wouldn't go back to your lager, would it?
You don't know, eh? Yeah. In these inflationary times, you never know.
Just back to your Taupo Thunder. So you got similar wheat to Crystal there?
What's that? Sorry.
Yeah. Crystal mold is similar to your wheat.
There is slightly less crystal than wheat, I think.
Yeah.
Honestly,
that's a cracking brew. I'm really enjoying that. That's real good.
I think it's coming to its own. It's always been pretty solid. We've actually entered the New Zealand Pale Ale, so we'll see how it goes tomorrow night. I think the awards. New Zealand.
Good luck with that.
So we'll see how it goes there, but it's come along. It's evolved, and it's quite a good beer. I think. Hopefully, we're selling New Zealand hops well.
That's definitely hitting the taste buds. Yeah, it's nice.
Yeah.
So you use municipal water from Lake?
So we have our own water supply. So the whole, sorry to tie into James's speech from the beginning. So because we are in a protected catchment area around Lake Taupo, the groundwater is super pure because there's very not intensive farming in the area. So we actually have a bore just next to the brewery, just draws water from 70 meters down, and it's just pure and bloody good.
You know, the sheep's teeth, they're always white, so clean. Yeah.
You have to add
so,
anything.
yeah.
You have to
No,
add
like it's,
any-
we've had it tested, like, well, obviously it's tested every 6 months, but it's the sort of water that McDonald's and BP want to make their coffees out of. It's just perfect for the flavor profile and everything else. So that's why I think it is. The only thing we add in is a little bit of acid to bring the pH down, and that's it. Yeah, so it's pretty clean tasting water, and obviously helps, obviously through the whole process of letting the hops and that shine. Yeah,
You're using the lactic or the phosphorus?
lactic.
Yeah.
It's a
but
huge
the
marketing,
calcium or
huge marketing thing, guys. The fresh water.
We used to
that
push it.
aquifer.
We've kind of forgotten about it.
We used to push it, probably forgotten about it a bit. Yeah, I think as the story grows, it's on the new label, on the cans and things like that. Probably push it a bit more on that. Yeah.
I
yeah.
think it's a massive marketing thing. That fresh,
Yeah.
that aquifer
And
water.
because of the volcanic soils and just high pumice content, it's super soft for groundwater. Like there's
Yeah.
not a lot of minerals and whatnot in it. It's not
Yeah.
hard, which is bloody good because yeah, there's
I
just
think we tinned today when we said we're going to make beer. Yeah, because we don't have to do a lot to it.
yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
That's
we didn't
good.
know that at the start, but yeah, it just happened to evolve that way.
They didn't in Pilsen either, so don't worry.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah, it should be great for lagers. But usually people say you have to add a bit of gypsum or something for ales.
Wiser.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, yeah,
you
we-
guys literally don't do any minerals apart from acid. Please,
That's
yes.
it.
And we add a tiny bit of yeast of it as well, just to liven up the yeast.
Yeah.
But those are the only like additives we really
Yeah.
put in it,
Okay.
which is just
Yeast nutrient. Yeah, which is
diammonium phosphate,
which is fertilizer.
Yeah.
basically fertilizer.
Yeah.
So just in regards to the bore, do you know how much water you've got down there, or is it sort of filtering? Does it finish?
There's heaps of water down there. Yeah, a lot of water. Yeah. We've had it tested
It
and
hasn't gone dry yet.
Yeah, I
Um,
can't remember what it was, but yeah, there's a lot of water there.
I think I'm ready for the big hairy.
Oh, Big Hairy,
Sweet ass.
Big hairy.
the APA.
Now I'll have you know, I drove all over Auckland just to find this damn box of beers. Is it because it's?
Who's speaking?
Sorry, we've got a bit of background noise here.
Oh, yeah.
Great.
Yeah.
So yeah, recently I'd seen it everywhere, and then it's almost like everyone got wind that this meeting was happening, and it was quite literally it vanished, or you guys literally bought every single box. I had to go over to the North Shore to get these, and then it took me another couple of days to find the cactus and the hillbilly milk.
Lovely.
I've disappeared. Yeah, so is it just a distributor thing? Is it just kind of the box's end of life, or
Can't
what's going on?
we're not as big as say, your 8 wides. I mean, or your sawmills or your epics, things like that. It's definitely we do a self-distribution. We've had distributors in the past, and we moved away from that because we just keep getting problems of storage problems and things like that. We use commission guys. They sell other products. They're freaking great guys, actually. We know that the beer, like, it's probably been brewed within 2 or 3 weeks of leaving here. It's chilled and it goes straight to the store. So I think that's why our beer, the quality is definitely a lot better that way rather than going to a warehouse.
Sitting at ambient temperature.
Yeah, and we haven't.
It's just never good.
A lot of other breweries, they'll go, and we do a little bit of it, but we don't do heaps of it. They'll go buy shelf space and things like that, but you don't make any money out of it. And we're probably taking the other approach, the long-term approach, our beer will earn its way onto the shelves. I mean, and this year, like as an example, we thought, we'll start a bar. They'll take care of a bit of growth. Sweet, it's cool. And about 2 weeks later, after we just signed the lease and everything, we get an email coming in from Countdown. We would like to stock your beer. So hopefully as of next week, our beer will be going out to Countdown. They said, oh yeah, we'll put you in 30, 40 stores. Now they're going up to 70 to 80 stores. Yeah, so
It must feel pretty cool.
Oh, it does, but it's like headaches, like, these tanks are turning up, and hopefully it just might be a little bit tight for a month. But yeah, it's just, I think that we tried to earn our reputation, hopefully, as good beers, and that people go, yeah, like, hey, look, I'll get Lakeman, hopefully, because it's good. Like
trying to grow on the merit of the beer as opposed to buying our way in.
Buying our way in the shelves and things like that. And I mean,
I was going to ask if
a few of the wineries have fallen over recently by doing that, and
I was going to ask if you were taking up the shelf space that that Sea Lord has lost, but that's progressive. Sorry, that's food stuff's not progressive.
Yeah, food stuffs. Yeah.
Food stuff's also good.
So yeah, that's how we distribute. We just use these guys, obviously bottle stores. At the moment, they're not buying because people can't really go into the stores. There's still a lot of contactless delivery, especially in Auckland, which is one of our bigger markets, obviously, for wholesale. And I think they're going on, like shoppers are just going on recognisable brands, whether it be Jim Beam or maybe Epic or Steinlager, that sort of thing. So that's just making it a little bit harder at the moment, I think, too. We're trying to find it. Yeah.
A little bit curious. This hairy hop, this is significantly darker than the pale ale, and normally it's the other way around.
What's that? Sorry.
Normally a pale ale is a little bit darker than IPA. But this is on the darker side of an IPA.
Have you got hairy hop or the big hairy?
Yeah.
What do you got? The hairy hop?
I jumped the gun, have I? Yeah, there you go.
Yeah,
we're on the big hairy, aren't we?
Yeah.
On the big hairy.
Someone said the big hairy. I thought we were doing hairy hop.
William, you need to pour it out, man. Start again.
Okay,
you gotta chop it, mate. You gotta chop it.
Chop it, yeah.
Yeah, chop it.
And Paul, stop teasing us with your stock on your shelves, man. That's unacceptable. Seriously, man, I drove for minutes around Auckland looking for this box.
I was just this is Pack and Save Glen Innes today.
That's what I was meant to get.
Huge presence there, guys.
Oh, did you say West Auckland?
Massive presence. Glen Innes.
Yeah, well, that's okay. That's the problem. Yeah, I just don't live in Richville.
But look at that, Lakeman, very prominent there. Really good.
Yeah.
Really good.
Hey, Sean, it's the Green Bay, the little Green Bay liquor store has it. I actually stopped off today. I got a bottle of wine for my wife, and I just had another look, and I actually bought myself a second hairy box. And later in the week, I called the new Lynn, used to be King Dick's, whatever. It's West Auckland liquor now. We stocked that one, but they said, oh, we don't get it from Lakeman. They didn't know Lakeman. They get it from their own warehouse, the Trust warehouse.
Yeah.
Or whatever.
Yeah.
So it's definitely in the Trust area.
Yeah, no, it goes to the main
out west is drinking, Lion Red and other stuff like that. No, normally I go to like Liquorland, Newmarket, or even sort of my local New World or Gilmore's. Usually they've got the hairy box, and I've seen it. It was almost like Dad said, "Hey, if you see this box of beers, grab it," and it was gone. It was it vanished. And I was hunting New World, Pack and Save. No one had it in the area, and it ended up being available at Constellation Drive, Liquorland. So yeah,
clearly you weren't the only person he told.
Well, I actually had hunted as well. Like, thanks to Sean telling me I was at Pack and Save in Sylvia Park. But shit, I tell you what, I had to look as well.
Yeah, it was like it just vanished.
Murphy's Law, I guess.
Indeed. No,
hopefully we did the brand a bit of good, that we were asking people where it is and asking about it, creating a bit of interest.
Yeah, bloody good.
I mean, some bloke calls up and thinks, "Oh shit, I just lost a sale because I didn't have enough stock." Like they'll probably order double next week, right?
Hopefully, yeah.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Well,
that's interesting.
I know we have the Labour weekend, so they should be ordering up big time.
Well, look,
It's an interesting thing, right? So you guys, you say you're not going to be packaging the hairy box anymore?
So we'll try and shift towards cans, but we will keep doing bottles for a while. But,
I'm just wondering how many hairy boxes are left out there.
oh, true. They might be a little bit limited edition. Well, we'll still have the bottling machine. We can always crank one out.
Yeah, limited edition on that, baby.
Yeah, I think you should keep the name though, the hairy box.
Buy them
That's
up,
Yeah.
No, we keep the name, but just put it in can format.
We ummed and ahed and brainstormed our little brains off and couldn't come up with anything for a new sampler pack. So we were just like, you know what? It's just the hairy box in cans.
Its own brand, really.
Yeah, it's bigger than Lakeman.
Yeah.
It's pretty risky, really. I mean, it's you hear about going for a hairy box at Liquorland. It sounds like something that a bloody lesbian convention, you know.
Are you in the right place?
They love it.
Trouble.
They love it. But like I say, Lakeman's hairy, he makes beer and puts it in the box. So
Maybe go for a Brazilian next time or something.
yeah.
We'd have to get a new suit for that, and I don't think anyone's keen to wear that.
Yeah.
I remember that the first time I heard the name was probably about 6 years ago, and it was actually the secretary to the GM of the company I was working for, and she was talking about her dad, what he wanted for his birthday, and this is a really nice, correct lady, she's cute and everything. She said, yeah, I gave my dad a hairy box. That was what he wanted. We're like, what'd you just say?
You're liable to get in trouble there.
That's good. So we're on to the hairy box, the big hairy.
Big hairy.
The big hairy. So all American on this not dry hop, just hop bill. So it is a combination of Citra, Simcoe, and Centennial. And Citra being the main hop, and then Simcoe and Centennial in supporting roles. And it's always been, I think I remember when I first started here, there was a big marquee out the front, and that was back when we used the crates. Yeah. And there was a crate of this beer that was in white labels, but you weren't selling it yet. Yeah. And I remember getting one and drinking it and being like, this is stupid. Why is this not being sold? But it was just, what was it? There wasn't a 6-pack or something for it at the time. But yeah, it's basically from day dot at Lakeman, it's always been my favorite or second favorite. Yeah. And yeah, it's just big American bold hops, and looks pretty good, tastes pretty good. Citrus and stone fruit on the nose and the palate. Pretty mild bitterness, once again, one of the things we've tweaked. No different bittering hop in this. So for the bittering, we actually just use a combo of Citra and Simcoe, and then in the bulk of the kettle editions, it's Citra, Simcoe, and Centennial, and then for the dry hop, once again, Citra, Simcoe, and Centennial.
Great mouthfeel of this as well. Great mouthfeel. Smooth. Silky.
Bloody good. And yeah, the malt bill, once again, all Gladfield. So for this, we focused on a lighter body again, because we wanted the hops to shine really at the forefront of this. So it's actually a blend of, for the base malts, a blend of American ale malt and Pilsner malt, to a lesser degree, to just really lighten the body and let the hops shine. And then again, a tiny little addition of wheat and light crystal. Yeah. The hairy hop, however, the color of that is probably due to the dark crystal, would you believe? Yeah. A twist on the average malt bill.
Which is probably our most awarded IPA, actually, is the hairy hop. Yeah.
But we won't learn from that.
Silence.
I'm liking to imagine that it's taken their breath away, but
Yes.
more likely
It's bloody good.
Hey,
Nice.
nice.
everyone's turned their mics off. Can't be that good, is it?
No, I'm just saying we're silent because we're enjoying this beer so much. So, bloody good.
That is it kind of looks like so these beers in the sample, that's kind of, would you call those kind of your staples?
Yeah, our core range. Yeah.
Yeah,
And
the
I-
only thing we haven't got in there is a hazy, but obviously with the new 6-pack cans, we'll put the hazy in there.
Yeah, there'll be a 5-point-something% hazy in there.
Yeah.
Okay. It's nice, and I wouldn't bother with the sour.
Yeah, +1, +1.
+1.
Should not bother with the sour.
That's
You're gonna shut up. Or they talking themselves and not us.
I think you're supposed to talk now, James.
no, it's actually just quite amazing because like I mean, just from a recipe development point of view, from a home view, we're sort of looking at like often if you're going to put a crystal in there, it's going to be 3 to 5, and 5 kilos and what he's saying 300.
Yeah.
You're talking about like 1.5–2%.
Yeah. Just found
But
that
it just balances everything so well.
yeah, we found that we used to be heavier on the crystal, but once again, I went through and he won my moments, didn't I, Rory? Right.
He's an absolute diva.
And beers aren't good enough. It wasn't their fault. It was just my thing, right? We're going to go through and review it. And so we'll cut crystal. And yeah, we've just found that the crystals can overpower sometimes with flavor and the sugar. And yeah, just doing what we do with it because of the water profile. I don't know. But cutting them back has allowed those hops to shine.
And often at the same time, we would play around with temperature of mashing just to sort of hopefully affect the final gravity and how much body is left over and how much it's fighting against the hops. So we'd typically change just like by 0.5 a degree, maybe even less. And it's just those tiny tweaks and constantly just surveilling your own product.
Yeah.
And
So what are you mashing at now?
So for the ales, we aim for 68 degrees flat at the moment for conversion.
I've changed it on me, Rory.
No, it's been there for a while.
68 for a while.
It was.
Hey, you go away for 6 weeks. Jesus.
We just, we lowered that. And for the ale, not the lagers and the pilsner, it is far out. I've totally forgotten. It's about 66.5, I think. And for some of the bigger beers, we aim even higher when we want a large residual body, like really want that malt character to shine as well. So we'll aim like 69.5 if we can manage it. But most of the time, James is like, hey, you've got a mash tun that can hold about 450 kilos of grain.
I want 490.
Could you please put 500 kilos of grain in there? And we're like, okay, so we'll just stir that until it comes out. And it's good fun,
Yeah.
But so is your mindset around keeping more natural sweetness from the malt rather than adding the sweetness from the crystal?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And balancing the hops in with it.
Yeah.
Just trying to.
We only ever wanted to use crystal for color, really. We didn't want just like the sugary sweetness at the end.
Yeah. Because finding they get a bit too syrupy to drink, and we wanted like our approach. Well, I guess our approach was like the listener and I was like, when you get a good bottle of wine, you want to drink the whole thing. Like when we wanted to make sure that if you want to drink one of our beers, you drink a 6-pack of it. I suppose it's always been our approach.
Cracking so far, yeah.
Even if it's 11% or something like that, but
which it gets pretty tricky at that. That
but so that's always sort of been the approach too, is that they've got to be drinkable, smooth, that you want to go back for another one. Yeah, especially the core range. Yeah.
Here. Make it drinkable. No.
So you're saying before, like you try to aim around 1.010, is that correct?
Yeah. So for the final gravity on most of the ales, the hairy hop usually sits about 1.011 or 1.012, just a little bit higher. But yeah, typically for most of the ales around 1.01, and the lager and pilsner around that 1.006, 1.005.
IPAs would probably allow to go to 13
because the bitterness is just a little bit
11,
higher.
sometimes 15, but that gives you the mouthfeel that is
rounds it out, makes it more palatable.
Yeah, and you think it is sweet when it isn't sweet.
Yeah.
It's just little things like that we try and tweak. Yeah.
And so we for our hazies we switched to verdant yeast not that recently, to be fair. We've been using it for quite a while now.
So I want to make it hazy.
Yeah, it works. All the other hacks and tricks just never really panned out for us, and
Yeah.
changed the yeast, and yeah, massive difference. But yeah, we found that there are reasons why it's called verdant. It's very voracious, and we started getting very low final gravity, so we had to rejigger everything a bit for that. But once again, learning curve, and
Oats.
more unfermentable products, and yeah, we find just a bit of a thicker body just to smooth those rough edges off on the hazies.
Are you using the Bradfield's Big O?
We
Roy was a big fan, but
we tried it a bit. We tried everything under the sun when we were first making hazies. We were using
the
flake.
sales reps having a great time with us.
They loved us.
This will
wasn't
make
it?
it hazy. This will make it hazy. This will make it hazy.
Yeah.
And I think,
Well, as long as you didn't put pumice in, I suppose you'd be winning.
You know what?
Well,
we
one-
didn't try pumice.
yeah,
That's
Oh.
probably the key.
one of them did taste like.
You
talcum
missed out on a
powder.
huge opportunity there.
Yeah. Pumice haze beer.
Boaties on the top of your beer. Yeah.
Yeah, just floating. No, so we have tried Big O a few times, and I've got 2 25 kilo bags sitting down in the brewery that I will definitely use in something soon. But I don't put too much stock in a fermentable oats. I think that kind of flies in the face of what we're using oats for.
Yeah.
We're not looking for the flavor of oats. We're looking for those unfermentable proteins and things that will provide colloidal stability and eventually lead to haze in the beer. That's what we want.
Yeah, I mean, you put oats and stouts to give it the creaminess, and I believe that, especially with that verdant yeast, the more oats you put in there, the better the beer is. Isn't it? Yeah.
Basically, yeah.
Yeah, and that Big O, I found. Well, it's just a personal thing. Like I just found the chip malt and all that. I just found that made them too chalky, and that's why we just pulled back and went more oats, and it just seems to do the trick. That just works for us. I don't know. I'm sure like other people will add, add lactose and things like that. But we, like we state on the, just can't think of the name, in the hillbilly milk, that it is actually a lactose hazy beer. And it definitely makes a big difference to the haze, for sure, the lactose, but yeah, I'm sure people are adding additives to some of them.
Oh, I'm not sure. I don't know if you will all agree, but there is a certain chemically taste in a lot of hazies out there, and I'm not sure if it is
showing that stuff, and it just didn't.
Yeah, there's a product called Cloud Emulsion that is just a chemical. It smells like citrus, but we never actually properly used it in a beer, but we
did. It just didn't feel right, but yeah.
Poured a glass and then you'd add a drop to it, and yes, the haze would immediately appear, but it compromised the flavor of the beer, so we weren't keen to use that product. And I'm not sure. I think I'm being a little bit of a conspiracy theorist, but I feel like I
Jacinda.
I feel like I tasted it in a lot of hazies. Okay? And I don't like it.
And you guys saying you have to like work to make the beer hazy?
Yeah. Oh, it's a nightmare.
Problem. I mean, most people, home brewers anyway, trying to not have a hazy beer.
Yeah.
So
I think once again, it's the water. The water's too bloody clean. It's hard to make a hazy out here.
Well, Jonathan.
You chuck them in, can you?
Once again, we're going to have to shovel some pumice into the mash tun, but we'll give it a go.
I was actually looking at the calf milk powder down there, feeding the calves at the moment. Maybe throw a bit of that in there.
Just on your hazies, we don't have your hazies with us, but what sort of malt were you saying? Big percentage of oats. I'm guessing like over 10.
Well, it'll be 30% for the hillbilly.
Yeah, around about
30%.
Like an extra.
That's an oat cream territory.
Yeah, no, it is an oat cream hazy.
Yeah,
there you go.
And now it's probably the game changer that made us go back to right. It's just heaps of oats.
Yeah. It's easy
and what about your normal hazies? How they sort of those?
Not quite that percentage. So if we take the 5 o'clock, what do I put in there? Let me do some math. I'll be right with you. It's something like, let's say it's 300 300 kilos. And of that,
60, isn't it?
yeah, something like that. 60 divided by 300, 20%.
Yeah.
20% oats in our smallest hazy.
I mean, that's still huge.
Yeah, and it's
I
made
mean,
all the
most
difference.
around 8%. So that's on the big side.
Yeah,
Yeah, but I think it's the only way that you get the mouthfeel,
yeah, it's our
and the
interpretation of
flavour.
hazy.
and things like that. Like I do believe that you do get a bit of the hop sticking to that,
Yeah,
to
they
the
carry
proteins a lot
through.
more. And
So where are the hops
hazy.
going in to the fermenter there?
We won't throw them until we've finished fermenting usually.
Yeah,
Oh, so you're not going for the biotransformation?
By that, no, I'm a little bit dubious on it.
I mean, it just made our tanks blow up, really.
It's bullshit, isn't it?
Yeah,
It might work. It might work. The science apparently says it does work,
well, the
but
marketing says it works.
the marketing says it works.
Yeah, we tried it. I was like, yeah, I'm a little bit on the fence on it. Like I say, because we've got so much protein in there, I believe, and that we do it over 2 or 3 days, that the hops are sticking to those oats anyway. Like it's, yeah.
Not to mention, just from a purely like financial standpoint, it's very.
We're going to put on our cans triple dry hop day.
Yeah, obviously we're going to put that on.
We're going to put that on there.
Yeah, I mean, maybe
we'll double our sales.
Quadruple dry hop.
Yeah.
For a few of us, we'll just add 1 pallet each day.
Yeah.
No.
Fucking genius, mate.
Yeah, it's brilliant, really. No, so we did try that the biotransformation early edition of dry hop, but we with all of our hazies now, we are trying a different method. So the way we normally whirlpool is we'll go straight from kettle to whirlpool, and that wort will still be at 90 something degrees, almost boiling. So that whirlpool edition, most of the essential oils will denature, and you'll have a lot of the alpha acids isomerizing and moving into the wort. But for our hazies, we run it through a heat exchanger first and cool the wort down to 60 degrees and fire it into the whirlpool. So our whirlpool additions are now at 60 degrees, and we find that it's a lot more stable. We get a lot more of the oils in there. Kinda, yeah. Once again, it's probably quackery, but we at least feel that we're getting a better feel, better experience.
Oh, definitely. I think it definitely.
So I heard you get more aroma if you do like say 60, 70, but you do it for an hour as opposed to like 20, 30 minutes.
Okay.
Like lower temperature but longer time.
Low temperature, longer
you get
time?
more aroma and less flavor. You're not extracting so much bitterness. Is that what you guys are planning on? Or
that's what we're doing basically,
Yeah,
but we
that
still
was the idea.
Still do it in 25 minutes. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I heard that, like obviously 80 degrees is still converting, alphas to bitterness.
Yeah.
But I heard the magic number is, you get down to below 70, but you do 1 hour, and then you get a good extraction.
70, huh? Could be an idea there, maybe for a new beer.
Yeah, we just dry hop.
Yeah, we're lazy. No, not lazy. Cautious? No, not cautious.
Yeah.
One of those words.
I mean, obviously at lower temperatures, like extraction time is, it's going to take longer. The lower temperature, the longer extraction time.
Yeah.
But not. Yeah.
But it's whirlpooling and it's going around pretty fast, so
yeah,
it should get them. Well, we know it works. It seems to be working on those hazies and that pretty well. So yeah.
But yeah, we're always open to try something else.
Yeah.
It's quite funny listening to you guys, because I can tell that you must drive your wife crazy, James, Alyssa. I can tell she's kind of the adult in the room. Kind of keeps you boys on the straight and narrow.
No,
she left us, mate.
I'm good. It's just him. I do what she says.
Yeah, it's not today, eh, Rory?
No.
All in the shed.
What does Alyssa want to do?
She's got the
Zoom account. She's the one controlling the Zoom account.
I'm surprised Alyssa isn't here, like fucking censoring you cunts.
She's 2 meters behind the laptop.
I knew it. I knew there's some censoring going on.
We all love Alyssa. She's great.
Yeah.
And Brew wouldn't work without her.
Yeah.
Oh, you guys are fantastic. Thank you.
You say you're going to bed, Alyssa? Good night.
Okay, next beer, eh?
Yep. What's next up? I'm ready.
I mean, if you wanted to, Harry Hop,
Oh, in the can.
it should be better.
In the can.
We're doing Harry Hop, aren't we? Harry Hop?
Yeah.
Let's
It's
do
our most
Harry Hop.
awarded IPA, yeah.
Hurry up.
And this beer here, like you don't have it and you haven't had it for a while, and you have it and you go, shit, that's a good beer. It is a full-on beer compared to other beers, but yeah, when you do have it, it is a very flavoursome beer, yeah. Probably more on the English side.
Mhm.
That
IPA.
Harry Hop is really dark compared to most IPAs.
Yeah, it's more of an English styled IPA. Yeah. Like Rory says, we had a bit more dark crystal to it just to get the colour. Yeah.
So what's the hop bill?
The hop bill, we use a hop that's not super popular in this, but we find really leans into that traditional IPA character, Chinook. The we
New Zealand
New
Chinook.
Zealand Chinook.
American
It's-
Chinook, it's shit.
yeah, it kind of sucks comparatively.
Sorry.
No, we love it and it was good. And when we had a shortage, we used it in the brew side and the kettle editions.
But it's amazing, like
The difference is
the difference. Same
ridiculous.
plant that came from the States, grown in New Zealand,
Mm.
and it's not as harsh. American Chinook was harsher. New
Yeah.
Zealand Chinook just had obviously different soils,
Yeah,
and
it's
probably
a different plant. Yeah,
Yeah, like the guy was talking about ripping it out, and I was like, Jesus, don't do that.
please don't.
Please don't. You know, it's our most awarded sort of beer.
Mm.
Yeah, but New Zealand Chinook's pretty amazing. Yeah,
Mm.
it's not as it's not as piney. It's probably a little bit more trouble thrown in there.
Oh. Well, you ask Holly and she's like, smells like pine cones.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm getting a
yeah.
slight minerally profile. Anyone else picking that up?
A mineral profile.
Yeah.
Is it off?
It does. There's a little bit of minerality. Yeah, minerality. Yeah,
Hmm.
but it's adds to it. It doesn't detract. It definitely adds.
The more I drink it, the more I do think of Taupo. There is that little bit of pumicey kind of that's there. It's
Hold on
definitely
to us. We'll stop putting pumice in it if you don't like it, I guess.
Yeah. But it's not as, I suppose, like the Big Hairy. Everyone loves the Big Hairy, but whereas Hairy Hop is probably acquired, but more of an acquired taste. But yeah, I love it when you haven't picked it up, had it for a while, and you do have it. You go, yeah, wow, it's a good beer. Yeah.
I mean, that was probably my favorite of the night so far. That's cracking.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's bloody good. The other hops, before I forget, it is bittered with Motiri, actually. Motiri. And then the rest of the kettle additions are a mixture of Chinook, Taiheki, and Centennial. And the dry hop is definitely Chinook.
Yeah.
Definitely something else.
Motiri.
Centennial and Motiri, is it?
Yeah.
Chinook, Motiri,
Yeah.
Centennial.
Pretty sure.
Yeah, we make too many beers these days, and they all kind of blend together. But yeah. So Chinook is what sets this apart from the rest of the lineup. And yeah, it's a very distinct hop. It's got that.
And it's a fine balance. Like if you go 1 kilo over,
Mm.
tastes like crap.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you can do too much.
Yeah. And the dry hop, yeah.
It's definitely something you have to exercise a bit of restraint with, the Chinook hop. But yeah, used sparingly, or not sparingly, used at the right rate, it is a bloody good hop.
Yeah. If you get your hands
In terms of your whirlpool and dry hop, have you got a like particular grams per liter you normally aim for, or?
If I was better at math, I would have all those grams per liter measurements for you. But because I'm only ever working on the same literage, same brew kit, I just do everything in liters and kilos. And I never
Yeah,
work
fair
out
enough.
percentages.
We
Sorry.
do work out the alpha acids though.
That we do. We
Yeah.
do. Yeah, break down. So season to season, what alphas are in each hop, and we adjust accordingly.
If one, because it might be less one year and up another year.
Mm.
And when we do have a bit of a alpha thing, how much alpha hops will stick in a
Yeah,
the
yeah, a bit of a guideline.
bit of a guideline.
Yeah. And apparently, so last year's crop of hops, I didn't pick up on it for a while, but because of all those wildfires in the US, all the US hops that we were importing, the essential oil counts were down on nearly all of them. So if you noticed last year's beers were a little bit lacking in aroma, is probably due to ridiculously horrible wildfires.
And dry.
And dry, yeah. But it's things like that, season to season. The ingredients change, so your product is always brewing as organic chemistry. Exactly. Yeah, it's always changing.
Yeah, and you gotta be, sounds terrible, you gotta be tasting all the time. And
yeah,
like we take the awards pretty seriously. We not doing the awards, like to us, we're doing something wrong. We're not out to win them, but if we're not consistently getting medaled, then
it's just it's a good barometer. It's a good test.
Yeah, because we're in Taupo, we don't have a lot of, I suppose you'd say, judges or brewers around that we can bring up and say, hey, come taste this, see what's happening. Yeah, we've sort of been stuck on our own a bit. So yeah, we do listen to the awards as a gauge for us. Yeah. Yeah.
It's our own form of isolation, I assume you could say.
So in terms of dry hops, you don't have grams a litre, but do you have approximate like kilos per batch or game for?
Like well, varies, like the pale ales. 6 kilos.
6 to 7, yeah. 6 to 7 kilos.
1,200 litres. And say the hillbilly milk would be 14 kilos. We know there's not 1,200 litres of beer comes out of it.
Yeah, it's more like 850 to 900.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
but yeah, we obviously we're always upping and downing and changing everything a little bit, but around that.
I mean, the reason why I ask is not obviously to match your recipe. It's just kind of get a gauge from a homebrew recipe, because I mean, what I found is that talking to other breweries, we're actually finding that the dry hop rates, we used to think like that 7 or 8 was a max. We're actually finding that most breweries are actually well over that.
Yeah.
And that sort of 10 to 15, you sort of think from a homebrew level, it's like, well, hang on, maybe I've got to change my recipe, but it's not about copying your recipe. It's like just getting inspiration from it,
Yeah, absolutely. And there's so much to learn off every other brewer out there. Everyone's tried something different. And
a lot of the hazies, they're huge. And some of the IPAs we're definitely getting up to 10 or 12 kilos. But depending on your malt bill and your profiles and things like that, like I say, we don't have to stick as much hops in, but we seem to get the flavors. And
it is absolutely ridiculous, like you were saying about the Pilsner, because it's such a light malt body. A small dry hop of 2 kilos is so pronounced, whereas in the modern hazy that is so oat fueled, you're chucking 20 grams per liter or something like that in of dry hop, and you're still only just producing like a readily available nose. So it's ridiculous, really.
Yeah.
What's the yeast in the hairy hop?
001, California.
The Cali Ale yeast.
Yeah.
When you guys say whirlpool, what temperature on your gear is your whirlpool at?
So say like with our core range, it's usually about 80 to 90.
Okay.
With the hazies, though, we're down to 60. Well, we put the hops in at 60 degrees. Yeah.
Oh, so you bring that down to the temperature you want.
Yeah.
There's a heat exchanger on hand that we can lower the temperature. Yeah.
The same way I do it at my grandfather.
Yeah.
Do you guys make like little small batches where you trial stuff? What type of gear do you use?
No, we don't have a thing. We just use one kit. That's it. So
the pilot kit is also the commercial kit.
Yeah, the make or break. Yeah.
Big balls.
Hey.
Big balls. Like, you're just gonna go for it.
Right. Huge balls.
Love it.
Just him. I'm shitting myself every time we try something.
But that's the beauty of it, seeing Rory shit himself. But yeah.
It's not fun to watch.
You're right. It'll be right.
It'll be fine.
Yeah.
And when it's not, you're just adding tequila, I take.
Yeah. It's a Kiwi way.
Yeah.
We'll just crank it all to a keg and crank it all in a keg and sell it in a local pub.
Yeah.
But I tell you what, that's also to be admired, man. That's part of your story. Like, there's literally so many guys that have like 50, 70 kilo pilot kits. And you guys just going for it. Like, fuck it. Let's just go for it. Let's just be it. I actually love that. Like, you know, I didn't know that about Lakeman's story before. And now I actually appreciate guys even more, you know, because you guys are just good old Kiwi blokes just going for it. Love it.
I mean, if it didn't work, we'd throw it out. But
we don't have to throw out too many beers, which is it's either kudos to us or we're lucky, one of the two.
Yeah.
Mostly James, once again. He's
I don't know that.
a micromanager. He's the worst.
Well, I mean, look, worst case scenario, you ship it down to the South Island.
What's that? Sorry.
Worst case scenario, you just ship it to the South Island.
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly. They'll drink anything.
Yeah. The further you go, the less fussy they are here.
Just send the seconds.
If only, like bottles half filled.
Sounds delicious.
I guess it goes without saying that the cows probably get all the grains.
That they do.
Yeah. Are you guys doing beef at all? Do you notice any different taste with your beef after being feed on?
We don't actually do any home kill anymore. It sounds terrible. We actually just buy Angus pure. I mean, we've got a Simmental herd. We just found that killing our own, a lot of wastage. I suppose we do eat a lot of chicken and fish and things like that nowadays too. So we actually just buy Angus pure, very consistent meat, and we'll buy one of those.
All right. At least the cows get rid of all the malt for you anyway.
Oh, they love it. They come and running.
And like the weight gains are huge. They look shiny in their coat. Definitely a lot friendlier and all that sort of thing. Yeah. We used to have it earlier on, and it was good. Yeah, they did taste good. Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
I mean, do you believe that your meat tastes better with it or without? Like,
definitely with it. Like, yeah.
Well, I mean, look, when the beer's going to be good when the cows fall over after eating the byproduct.
Yes, the only time they fall over is when you give them you made a barley wine, and so with the barley wine, there's more residual sugars, and then you actually poison them because you give them both batches. You see, so they get toxicity. So that was a learning curve. Yeah.
Yeah, I bet. Yeah. Okay, that was that went south rapidly.
Yeah. There was only one. Luckily, we only lost one, but yeah.
You can do too much.
Yeah, but as long as there's residual sugars too low, your feed will just not too bad. Yeah.
Yeah. It's good fodder.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's also another line of business you could actually start selling it off to other farms in the area. Lakeman certified feed.
Supplementary feed, yeah.
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 We've got a lot of cattle, so not only got a lot of cattle, but you've got a long way to go before we do that, I think. Yeah.
Got to brew bigger batches before we can give away any grain.
Yeah.
Just because you guys mentioned quite a few times, like you reduce your bittering. Is there a reason why you sort of, you see more flavors coming out with less bittering?
Yeah.
Is there a reason why you started quite high bittering and you sort of chopped it back, or? I mean, most go another way.
Just time, I think. I just found just a little bit too bitter, and found as we dropped it, the flavor profile grew, and
the sales went up.
Yeah.
And you got something you aim for now, like in terms of IBU at the end of it? You got something you aim for, or just by taste? Or?
We don't usually measure IBU here because it's pretty damn hard, but it's just a taste.
But if we were approximating, we would aim for mid 30s or something like that on our ales, the IPAs, 45, 50.
Like Harry Hop probably be one of our more bitter beers.
Yeah.
And that and
Hot Brush,
yeah.
But our ethos, well, I'm saying that grandiosely, James's ethos
That sounds, mate, you've been here long enough.
has always been, make the beer that people want to drink, and it has always rung true that Kiwis do like not a sweeter but a less bitter beer, and we aim to please, so we want to make a beer that everyone wants to drink, and dialing back the bitterness has definitely made our beers more palatable.
Yeah.
And therefore, people like them more, they score better. It's been a win-win, and honestly we drink them more, so
Just rounding them. Yeah.
yeah.
So you're more the 35-40 mark now.
Yeah, maybe
Okay.
even low 30s sometimes.
Yeah.
I reckon that.
Yeah, it's all honestly.
Because I mean, you can't measure the IBUs and the whirlpool. It's just
No.
too.
I mean, your pilsners and lagers obviously you're gonna go down to sort of like your 20, 25, right?
Yeah.
Hmm.
Nothing that lingers too long. Yeah.
Yeah.
Those oils and acids floating around, but yeah, you're absolutely right. And yeah, to be fair, I don't drink enough other beer, so I don't really know what the market is doing or how we stack up comparatively. But lowering the bitterness has definitely, I think, been a good move.
Yeah.
I enjoy our beers more now.
Yeah.
The flavors do pop.
And you get the hop
Yeah.
flavors too.
Yeah.
Agree. I think it's good. Very good move.
Cheers.
Oh.
And yeah, had a guy from Black Dog Brewery. I don't know who he was working for.
Marta.
Was he working for Marta?
It turned up yesterday.
No, different guy at Beervana just before lockdown number 2, Electric Boogaloo. Came up to us at our stand at Beervana, and he was saying he tasted our beers 4 or so years ago and reckoned everything was just a bit bitter. And I was like, wow, that's uncanny, my friend. We have been reducing our bitterness across the board, and since then have seen a marked rise in sales and public opinion. So
Yeah.
I think it's been a good move.
Yeah.
It's not traditionally 2 style, I don't think, but you've got to just dispense with that sort of carry on.
Oh, yeah, back what you do. too.
Exactly. Make what's
Exactly.
good.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. Like where do styles come from? It's just tradition and
Yeah.
history. So that can all be changed. Just change it.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's always changing. So yeah, we're just hopefully moving with the times, not against the current. Cool.
In terms of filtering, I mean, these beers are like fucking crystal. Like what are you guys doing there?
Oh, just nothing, eh? No.
Spill the beans, mate.
Small amounts of finings. So a silica solution, just really, really small amount, like using the minimum dosage of that, and then cold crash first, then silica solution, and then putting it through just a coarse and a fine filter down to 2 micron absolute. And that seems to
2 to 3 actually.
2 to 3 micron absolute. And that seems to and it's just like a, what's it called? A paper epoxy something filter. So like a disposable one almost. And that seems to bring up all our ales perfectly. With the lagers and pilsners, sometimes we do struggle to clear them up. I think it's just the yeast particles are much finer and therefore can permeate through the membrane of the filter.
But you don't want to go too far.
Yeah.
I mean, some breweries they'll go down to 99.9, but I think we destroy the flavor a bit.
Yeah, we found we were stripping out. We tried a finer mesh, and it actually stripped so much out of the beer that the flavor was negatively impacted. So
then you don't. Yeah, less.
Was that so 2 to 3 micron your filter now?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, because a lot of beer filters are around 1 micron, right?
Mm.
Yeah, and I just find that they strip too much flavor out, but they are better because at least in terms of that way you get less infection happening out there in the world. Yeah.
But it also takes longer to filter, and who's got time for that?
Yeah.
Sorry, that was a joke. My bad.
That's right.
But is it also the fact that you said you're throwing these beers at sort of 2-3 weeks, and then you're filtering? Like you reckon the extra week is just the difference between you needing 2 to 3 microns as opposed to 1?
I mean, we've been running the 2 to 3 micron for a couple of years now, and only been doing this extended period of conditioning for 1.5 years, maybe. Really only a year maybe, but it has definitely improved the longevity of our filters, that's for sure. Like cartridges last a lot longer now. Like
Yeah, but we also got we also put, when we redid the water not long ago, we put filters on the water
that's
before
right,
it goes into the shed, and actually
small
made
ones.
that, and they go down to 1 micron there, and that's made a hell of a difference too.
Yeah, actually, you know what, we were joking about pumice, but that could have potentially been getting through into the beer.
Yeah.
Just in the most tiny of particulates, and yes, it's absolutely digestible, it's fine for you. But yeah, we changed up the water filters prior to the water entering the brewery, and that, you know what, I think it has made a difference.
It's made a huge difference. Yeah.
Instead of using a coarse and then a fine filter in the pump shed, we're now using 2 fine filters. So it's just doubly filtering that that water that comes through, and we've seen a market change.
Another question from me, actually. I missed some of the earlier stuff. I had to duck outside, but interested to know, James, obviously you set this place up and stuff, but it sounds like you're still running the farm as well. Like how actively involved are you in like a brew day? Like are you in the brew house?
Probably the last 6 weeks, haven't been pretty lucky, got a great team. On the farm, yeah, probably was a lot more slotted on the farm, but we come in and help can and things like that. I mean, Rory and Stacey doing such a great job down there.
And I don't know how to farm, so he has to do that.
He's off the farm, but
townie, basically a
that's why we
townie.
employed him. Yeah, so these guys are yeah, and like I said, last 6 weeks I haven't been there because of health and that. Yeah, then there's the other side of it, like marketing and obviously setting up the bar, and so you got that side of it now. So you do get a bit more drawn away from it. We're very lucky on the farm that Dave been pretty much running the farm for me as well while I've been sick, and yeah, it's sort of it's a bit of a hard question, that one, but
sorry to put you on the spot.
But someday just walking this way, that's right, it's just making
He's integral to every system of the brewery.
Yeah.
He won't say it himself, but none of this works without him.
Yeah, cool.
No, we get by, we don't work.
And then
I guess next part of the question is, again, sorry, I missed some of the early stuff. Was it Rory? Like, what was your background? Like, have you brewed somewhere else before coming to Lakeman?
You'll love this story. Rory's actually part of the story. Rory's other brothers have worked here, but they were useless. They're no hopers.
No, they're fine. I love my brothers. They're okay. I wouldn't say moved on to better things, but they didn't want to brew.
And so Rory showed up here reluctantly, and we had him packing hairy boxes, and we had this brewer here. It was meant to be the be all and end all, and he wasn't. And so he moved on. And I think Rory hadn't been here about 8 weeks, wasn't it?
Yeah, around about.
And I said, "Oh, righto, Rory, do you want to be a head brewer?" And I said, "No." I actually said, "Oh, you're a head brewer now." And so we went hard for 8 weeks brewing, me and him, and because the beers weren't good, and we got them right again. And I think Rory, we were about 20 when he came, or 19.
Round about something there.
Lining of 20, and I think the first lot of awards. I think Rory got 5 or 6
Not
medals.
me.
That was
once again that guy. We won a gold medal.
Yeah,
the
big hairy.
Awards.
So like that's how quickly we changed it around, and
it's just not having an ego invested in your product. I think when you're just worried about the beer and it's not your opinion or your name on the line, I think always putting the beer first is.
But Rory's actually very consistent. He's better than me. I still got a bit of far in me and take the odd shortcut, whereas Rory's more consistent, and that's where we got to today. Yeah. So
to answer your question, I was driving tractors before I worked here.
Yeah.
Not what I was expecting, but yeah, well done. Good on you, man.
I mean, normally you got like some long stories of like, hey, I was a home brewer, then this and this and this, but
I had never homebrewed even.
Yeah.
I didn't know what I was doing.
Mate, 2 of us never homebrewed.
How the fuck did you figure it out then?
Oh, it was
Google,
a nightmare.
Mate, Google.
It was a nightmare.
Yeah, Googled it.
Oh, make 1,200 litres of beer. All right, fuck.
Yeah, so in our first year, we tipped out about 13,000 litres. But we were like, but we've always been integral about that. But shit beer doesn't go to the
Yeah,
market.
yeah.
We actually got a bit of help in the end. Guys by the name of Graham Mahi, Greg McGill, and another Pete from Shunter's Yard up there, and up in Hamilton, they came down quite a bit and helped us, and they got us on the road, and yeah, and they pretty much donged into me that you got to put quality, because there's a lot of shit brewers out there at the moment. This is like, I'm talking 8 years ago, and so yeah, we like they'd say tip it, or but they also helped us. Yeah.
Brewing's always improved by collaboration, I reckon.
Yeah. So that's our that side of it, but yeah. And so Rory's been with us about 7 years now, I think 6 or 7 years. Yeah.
Speaking of collaboration, have you guys done any brews with any other breweries?
No one wants to touch us.
Yeah, no one likes us. We're unpopular. It's okay. We're the smelly kid on the playground.
Yeah. I'm waiting for the call up from GP, but I doubt that.
I don't think they know who we are.
we're not overseas. Yeah.
We collaborated with a local coffee roaster once a couple of years ago. That was cool.
Yeah.
Made a bloody good beer. It won an award.
Yeah, it did too. Won a trophy, yeah.
But no, we have not collaborated with another brewery, but we would absolutely be open to the idea.
Yeah.
Deep Creek,
you need to. You guys, you're in Pack and Save. You're everywhere. Do you need to do that?
I don't know.
You need to collaborate. You're doing something right. Whatever you're doing is right. You're doing something very right here. Do you need to collaborate with other breweries?
Well, I don't know.
Your stuff is all over the place.
I don't know.
Worse than COVID, eh?
Yeah, I think Taupo is too far away for some people. Yeah,
maybe.
Maybe.
These beers are cracking out. Like, these are really good beers.
Cheers.
You wait till you get to the 6th one. It's the best.
It's
the lager.
Well, I'm 5 deep. So we're good. We're good. But no, seriously. Like, as you say, you drop the bitterness, very drinkable. They've got a slight sweetness, but they're not overly sweet. They've got a good hop balance. You can still taste the malt versus the hop. Got a good balance. The balance is there.
Yeah.
And I think it's something missing from a lot of beers.
Yeah, and that's like I say, approaches that you'll be able to drink a 6-pack of it, and yeah, I haven't been able to try the beers for the last 6 weeks, but
yeah, you don't. I think that was always what you're getting at. I don't know if you put it so succinctly, but essentially, yeah, you don't want to be overwhelmed by the hop character and the oiliness, and you don't want to be overwhelmed by the sweetness and coyness of the malt. And I guess that always translates into balance, and that is always what we've strived for, is just consistent balanced product. Yes. Him, not me.
I've realised
ratio.
Someone local you can actually collaborate with in Owakuni. The Real Play Brewing. That would be your closest.
Yeah, it would be. Yeah, he's meant to be coming over to look at something soon to buy off us. Yeah, for sure.
I mean, while he's here looking at it, we'll just.
The other thing is though that AS Keg beer, and I think at the moment, like we did a collaboration with New Zealand Farming for the rescue helicopters and things like that. Probably those ones, and you're able to do a few batches. You can put on the shelf. Obviously, there's a bit of money behind and labelling and that, but the best way is to do it through bars. We're not in a lot of bars. We haven't chased the bar market. And probably thank God we haven't chased the bar market this year.
Do you think cans will change that for you? Will that make that more accessible?
Oh, the cans definitely made it way more accessible, and I think like bringing out the hairy box and the can sample pack will definitely give it another boost again. Yeah. And but yeah, just trying to chase bars. There's so much because there's a lot of competition, and putting us, like I think for us to break even, I haven't done the figures for years, but for us to break even on a sales rep is something like $400,000. So really you need $1 million turnover from one sales rep to make it pay. Yeah, and that's a lot of keg sales around New Zealand. Yeah. So that's why I would just rather just do something in town. It's easy. You can keep an eye on it. You've got control of it, and yeah.
And locals good.
Yeah, hopefully, yeah. Yeah, we're still fairly redneckish down here in Taupo, but
Oh, you'll convert them, just take time.
yeah, no, it is. It's time. You see it evolving all the time now. Yeah.
Just training them onto craft. It takes a wee while, but I mean, I think when I first started drinking craft, at least I think it was, I just wanted to be different. I wanted to be drinking something different at parties that I went to. And I mean, maybe people's reasons aren't the same, but making a more palatable, more accessible product is definitely something we strive for. And yeah, hopefully we are an on-ramp for the craft brewing industry. I hope that we are. Once again, making our beer slightly less bitter, a little bit easier to drink. I wouldn't say the word entry level, but
definitely
not entry level.
Don't say gateway either.
No.
We're a gateway.
sounds gay.
Yeah. No,
Yeah.
definitely not going that angle either. So
Yeah, but
Guys, I've got bingo. You guys are playing bingo too? Buzzwords?
Bingo? What are the buzzwords?
Oh, gateway.
Gateway?
Craft, entry level.
Yeah, all things that we're after. You know, we want to get people addicted to craft beer.
This wasn't cocaine.
now it's sort of done our own thing a bit, and hope like hell it worked, and probably has a little bit. So yeah.
Now, between me, you, and all of you, we're at 4, but we've been doing it lightly because I've got to walk, and it's a very long walk.
Yeah.
300 or 400 centimeters.
Stumble.
Yeah. What's the next beer? Are we doing?
Jesus Christ, you guys are going to
Now, in all fairness, we were told, go forth and seek, and we sought. As I said, it took us some time, but we were able to get the Hillbilly Milk Oat Cream Hazy and the Double Hazy IPA. And I don't know about you guys, but it feels like Friday. It should be Friday.
Yes, bear with me.
So, are we going to do Are we going to do another one, or are we sort of wrapping it up? For
you guys, how many of you got it though?
Oh,
how many of you managed to get it?
Not many, if any.
2.
Got one.
2.
I mean, look, if we are the minority, then fair enough. I mean, I would hate to drink a beer in front of you guys and have you sort of salivate and miss out.
Right, mate, I'm not drinking.
Turn around, still drink it, but yeah, I mean, it's really up to the wider audience. But
we've got to hear. Why don't you crack it, open it, and drink it, and you do the tasting?
Yeah, tell us what
you
give us
a feedback.
Yeah,
it tastes like a can. But the other thing is Deb points out, is we also do have the hairy dust. Now, I was going to make a comment about you being knee deep in hairy boxes when you started, but we do have the hairy dust, which is the extra pale ale. Yeah, so why don't we do the XPA and?
So you're not going to do the one for us?
Well, I'm not that good at tasting beers.
Paul, no.
This is the brewer here. I'm the drinker, so I mean I can drink it and go.
So you got a tasting. You got a tasting.
Well, I can drink it and go. It's lovely. It's refreshing. I can get hints of beer. In beer.
That's all we need to know.
I am the.
Isn't there the whole point of drinking beer? Fuck. Like, that's it.
I sit here and then the conversation is going over my head, but it's fascinating. I absolutely love it, and it's awesome to see the passion behind the from the brewers and the story behind the drivers, and it's just an awesome story, and it's just great to see.
Hairy dust.
Yeah. So
hairy dust is probably slightly weaker than the hairy hop and the big hairy.
Is it going to be that?
The flavour probably won't pop as much as the others.
I'm going in. Hairy dust.
All right. We'll tell Paul.
Fuck it. We're going in.
Thumbs up or thumbs down?
We're going in.
We're going in.
Is it execution or he lives?
Hairy dust.
Yeah, we're going in. Hairy dust.
I'm gonna hate you tomorrow, fucking Sean. Fuck.
Now we've talked about peer pressure tonight, and don't do drugs.
Obviously.
Sean, also fuck you. We're going 60.
So
Hang on, what? We got a 60.
It's unanimous. It's a fuck you to Sean. Is
Thank
that right?
You're welcome. And for those that have to work tomorrow, have a few more beers later on. Just, really.
Yeah, we'll be fine. Don't worry, Sean. Honestly, we thank you. We thank you.
Tomorrow.
Your dedication. Yeah. Your dedication to beer cannot be parallel to anything.
I won't be asked back. I can feel it already.
No, we already appreciate it. Thank you.
Okay.
All right, so we're going to do the hairy dust and
yeah.
So hairy dust. The story behind the name is
oh, that's right. It's family.
It's actually a little bit of family here. Obviously, hairy dust is after fairy dust. When we talk about drugs, one of my father's, his brother was actually Mr. Asia, Terence Alexander Clark. I always wanted to call a beer Mr. Asia, but I know I'd get slapped around the ears for it, and
it's a bit too on the nose.
A bit too on the nose, so that's why we came up with hairy. That's how the name hairy dust came about. Yeah, but it's only a 5% beer. Yeah. The main hopping is Mosaic.
Yeah, maybe some Zythos in there as well.
Yeah.
This one, honestly, I haven't made in a long time. Stacey has been brewing this one. Zythos, Mosaic, a bit of Simcoe, and maybe...
Yeah, Simcoe and a dry away.
Yeah. I think it could be historically now. I don't think we use it anymore, but it was either Eldorado.
Falconer's Flight or something.
Oh, honestly, there was Eldorado, Azaka, and Falconer's Flight, and I think at one stage we were using one or all three of those.
Yeah.
But eventually phased them out, and yeah, it's just obviously the style XPA is a bastardization of an APA and an IPA.
Yeah.
XPA, extra pale ale.
Well, IPL.
No,
I have to say, that it's a good end beer. It's a great end to the evening.
So clean. Like
Super
all your
light.
beers are so clean.
That's what we went for.
The logo.
Paul, just slow
the
it down.
logo left.
Pump the brakes.
Oh, what? What are you doing?
Soon he's going to be like shirtless, running around, jumping into people and diving off of couches.
Who's to say that's not happening already?
Eating wild animals.
He's still seated.
I mean, that is a cracking color.
Yeah, I'm blown away. This is a really awesome beer.
Yeah.
James and Rory, just so you know, at any stage you can just hit the leave button and say, hey, the line broke down, we've had enough.
I'm hovering over it, honestly. Yeah.
No,
I don't blame you. I really don't.
It's been a very nice evening.
Yeah, and I got as a sort of an outsider, sort of peering in through the windows, it's always a pleasure to sort of sit on these things and sort of hear the questions you guys are all collectively asking, and you guys as brewers sitting here saying this is our passion, this is what we love. So it's really awesome to have you guys talking about the last 8 or so years you guys have been doing. Hey, I want more challenges in life because clearly.
Life was too easy.
Yeah, I mean, who would have
So
thought?
what's the malt bill? What's the malt bill on this one?
The malt bill. Okay, you're gonna love this one because it's actually a bit different.
Yeah. Wait.
If I could remember it, that was.
Pilsner.
So there's a bit of
half Pilsner.
It's something like the base malts are half American ale, half Pilsner. And then there's actually a significant amount of wheat. I think it's about 50. Yeah, 50%. 50, no, not 50%, 58 kilos or so of the.
Yeah, about a third. I think it's about a third.
A third wheat. So it's very wheat heavy. And then something like almost a kilo, maybe even.
Crystal, yeah.
Yeah, it's a very, very small amount of crystal, just to keep it nice and pale.
Just get the color, yeah.
I mean, the name is extra pale ale, so we were like, surely that means they do just want it very pale.
That can mean fucking anything, can't it?
Yeah. It's a good beer. I think that the pink label might turn a few people off, but
yeah,
who cares? Honestly, it's a good beer.
In this day and age, really, I'm actually surprised your hairy box. I can't show it because it keeps hiding me. Isn't a hint of pink in it. but yeah, I've been trying all night to hold cans up, and I just disappear. The can disappears. It's been a misery.
Sean, you just need to shut off that stupid background. Just get
it's
rid of that virtual.
It's motivation. It basically tells me
That's understand the month, right?
On and fly.
Okay.
It's a positive message for me at some point in my life.
Is that like 10 years time or like now?
Right, the cape and the flying. No, yeah. I'm not. Please don't ever buy a cape, put it on, and try and fly. Okay, don't do that. Don't do drugs. Don't try and jump off buildings.
It's not worth it.
Why not do drugs? What's all that about?
Oh no, you drink beer. This is PSA stuff. You've got to make sure you cover your bases in this day and age. Now I know we're not drinking them, and not everyone got them. Sorry to butt in again, but I was hoping maybe you guys could talk to Cactus and Hillbilly Milk. I mean, you've sort of touched upon them tonight a little bit in various conversations, and I know that not everyone has them, so we're not drinking them. But maybe you want to give us a little bit more detail about those two beers, so those that do have them, when they do try them, they can sort of relate back to.
Sure can. I don't have them in front of me either, so I can't taste them along with you. But which one first, Cactus Juice or Hillbilly Milk?
Now, to be clear, we're not opening them here. We'll save them for another day, but it would be interesting to just hear a little bit of a background about them and sort of how they came about. And
we basically Hillbilly Milk. We had some hops left over. I walked in there one day. I was like, "God, it's a great name for a beer. Let's just make it." Because if you want to get labels done in a hurry, it's the only fucking way you do it. And so I blew everyone's program out a little bit. So they came up with the recipe and wanted to make it a hazy, an oatmeal cream, obviously with lactose as well, hazy. And so we came up with the recipe. We use this Citra Cryer, which unfortunately there's none in the country now. I've got a heap of labels for it. So that backfired on me a bit.
That's fine. People like it.
Yeah. It's going pretty well actually. So yeah, it's been a while since I tasted it, but it's definitely with that little bit of lactose in there. Wasn't heaps, it was like 10 kilos in the whirlpool. Just took off the edge off everything. Obviously all the oats in there, and it's about as hazy as Charlie's orange juices. The hop flavors, I suppose you'd say, really shine.
Yeah,
I suppose the tropical flavors of it come out.
Like cryo, we have used it previously once, the cryo hops. So they're like really rapidly frozen, and apparently that almost doubles the potency of them.
You use half the amount.
Yeah, you can use half the amount of them, and we have used them previously in a beer that I've forgotten about, but we used them in Hillbilly Milk, and it finally it clicked. Like it definitely, the aroma and the flavor were just so much bigger. Yeah,
and with using NZH102 as well.
Yeah, great supporting hop.
Yeah.
And also I don't tell James I snuck an extra bag of oats in initially. He was like, use 3, and I was like,
but that mistake made it even better.
Yeah, it wasn't a mistake. It was a conscious effort.
This is brewing, isn't it? Mistakes.
Yeah, no, it is. And that's why we went back to this. I was like, we went back and changed a lot of the hazies from that. Yeah. And then
like all good things, it was a happy accident.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you guys make it sound like some sort of accident, but you guys are very switched on, very onto it. You blame on each other, but it sounds like happy accident right through. They say you plan your own accidents.
Yeah.
Oh, I was fully prepared to say, okay, I fucked up. I accidentally put an extra bag of oats in. That's why the beer's shit.
I think he actually finally listened, because he always carried on about these chip malts and other malts. I said, just use oats, mate. Use oats. And he finally listened, I think, that day. But yeah.
Oh, so that's what it was. So it was your beer. Okay. I see how it is. That's fine.
Yeah.
No,
see, sales reps don't know everything.
Both, yeah. I think I speak for both of us when I say that we were both bloody chuffed.
When's the last day last time a sales rep did a brew day. Just saying.
Yes, you know
exactly,
what?
yeah.
Good point.
Yeah, oh, this beer makes it so much hazier for you. Righto.
No, it,
Mm.
it really doesn't. Oh, but honestly, yeah, you're always trying to learn, and mistakes are how you learn best, or at least learn quickest, because you don't want to make a mistake again.
I mean, you guys talk about oats, but I mean, 20% is much higher than industry average.
And yeah, it was just going beyond how much we were comfortable to use was the big move for us. Like, still being able to produce the correct ABV, because I don't know if it's the same on every kit, but on our kit, I found we were adding these supposedly unfermentable or infermentable products, and we were still getting higher ABV and lower final gravity.
What was your mash time?
Mash time. So yeah, mash rest is an hour. But yeah,
you'll get conversion with some of those.
Exactly. Yeah. And we just found that sales reps were telling us one thing and our results were telling us a different thing. So we had to just once again listen to the beer.
What do the sales reps know? I mean, they're just
they're trying to be helpful, to be fair.
Oh, those new products.
But where do they get feedback from? Where's that information coming from?
Yeah.
Where do they get that information from? Like a retailer who hasn't even tasted a sale and doesn't sell.
To be fair, I think at least with Gladfield, they are good. They do.
20-litre brew.
Exactly. Sorry, I thought you were talking about your sales reps that are selling the beer.
Our sales reps, the Cowboys. Wouldn't trust them as far as
okay. No, I didn't understand. I thought you're you're not talking about your guys who are selling the beer. You're talking about the people that are trying to sell you shit.
Yeah, that's basically it. Yeah.
James likes our sales reps.
Got it. Yep.
Oh.
So next winter, then, do you think we'll find a good brown on tap? And
you've just got to convince him. I'm keen for this idea.
Brown, they don't seem to sell that well.
The marketing opportunities are huge here after Harry Box. If you get a brown ale.
The brown box.
I don't know if I'd be buying the brown box.
Oh, come on.
You'd have to sell that a bit. You'd have to make that a bit sexier. There's something not quite right there.
Yeah.
Ginge minge.
Oh God.
No. Maybe an alcoholic orange ginger beer. Sorry. Yeah. The ginger minge. No, God, no. That's a bad idea.
Oh, it is a bad idea.
God.